Chapter 15. Gumo Cheng had never seen a girl drool in her sleep before, let alone one who wiped it off with the back of her hand. As he turned to leave, he noticed that Su Anan wasn't wearing socks. Pausing briefly, he sighed, crouched down, and took out a handkerchief to gently wipe the remaining drool from the corner of her mouth. Worried she might catch a cold, he carried her to the bed. Whitey, the Samoyed, woke up when Gumo Cheng entered the room. Thinking that Gumo Cheng had come to see it, the dog eagerly wagged its tail and circled him. Knowing its master was a germaphobe, Whitey hesitated to lick Gumo Cheng's pants but couldn't contain its excitement. When Gumo Cheng carried Su Anan, Whitey felt neglected. Letting out a series of low, dissatisfied whines, it circled the room in protest. As Gumo Cheng lifted her, Su Anan stirred, sensing something unusual. Slowly opening her eyes, she saw his face up close. "Uncle," she murmured drowsily, assuming she was dreaming. Emboldened by the thought, she called him uncle without hesitation. The word made Gumo Cheng's face darken. He didn't like being called that. Compared to uncle, he much preferred hearing her call him husband. Unaware of his reaction, Su Anan drifted back to sleep against his chest. A fresh stream of drool trickled from her mouth, staining his pristine white shirt. After placing her on the bed, Gumo Cheng looked down at the wet stain on his shirt and immediately regretted carrying her. He left the room to take a shower, his expression neutral, but his thoughts unsettled. The soft bed felt noticeably different from the carpet. As Su Anan slept, something began to feel off. She dreamed of Gumo Cheng. Or did she actually see him? Her eyes flew open, and she was surprised to find herself lying on the bed. The room was empty, and even Whitey was nowhere to be seen. Did I climb into bed on my own? Before she could make sense of things, the bathroom door opened. Gumo Cheng stepped out, bare-chested, with water still streaming down his sculpted chest. Su Anan couldn't help but stare, swallowing hard at the sight. Her thoughts jumped to the racecourse, where she'd hit Gumo Cheng's car and had the audacity to give him a thumbs up. Now, her panic resurfaced. Pointing at him, she blurted, "It wasn't me. You've got the wrong person." Gumo Cheng frowned slightly, confused by her sudden outburst. What? Did he not recognize her? Su Anan studied his seemingly indifferent expression and felt a wave of relief wash over her. He doesn't recognize me? Ecstatic, she was sure of her luck. If he weren't standing right there, she might have burst into laughter. Nothing, she replied, pursing her lips to suppress a grin. Her mood lifted, and she found herself smiling brightly at him. Her tone was sweet, as though her words were dipped in honey. "Hubby, let me help you wipe off the water," she offered cheerfully, hopping off the bed and approaching him. Standing before him, her petite 1.65-meter frame seemed even smaller next to Gumo Cheng's tall, imposing figure. "Hubby?" he repeated, raising an eyebrow. Just moments ago, she had called him uncle. Ignoring his reaction, Su Anan grabbed a towel and began drying his chest. As her fingers brushed against his firm, smooth skin, her thoughts drifted to something her friend Fu Xin had once said. "Gumo Cheng is so handsome. If I could touch him every day, I'd be happy." Caught up in her musings, Su Anan couldn't resist the urge to touch his chest deliberately this time. It's so firm and smooth, she thought. Feels really nice. "What are you doing?" Gumo Cheng's deep voice snapped her back to reality. Startled, Su Anan looked up, meeting his cold, questioning gaze. Her reflection in his dark eyes revealed her flushed face and embarrassed expression. "Nothing," she stammered, quickly withdrawing her hand and lowering her head. Her cheeks burned with shame. The temptation had been too strong, and for a moment, she had completely forgotten she was only supposed to be drying him off.